Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into that ultimate everywhere on your feed viral fitness challenge, doing 100 push-ups every single day for 30 days. You've probably seen the videos, right? The ones promising massive chest growth and superhuman strength in just a month. But today we're cutting through all that hype. We're going to look at what actually happens to your body using the hard science of biomechanics and recovery. So let's get right down to it and ask the big question. Do you actually build massive chest and tricep muscles by grinding out 100 reps day in and day out? Or are you basically just setting yourself up for joint pain, overuse injuries, and a horribly hunched posture? Here's our roadmap for today. First, setting up the challenge. Then, weeks 1 and 2, the shock. After that, weeks 3 and 4, the grind. Then we'll do a reality check on muscle versus myth, cover the risks and downsides, and finally, look at some much better alternatives. All right, section 1, setting up the challenge. Are you ready for day 1? Look, let's be honest. The average guy can only knock out about 15 to 20 push-ups in a row. So dropping down to do 100 right out of the gate, that means you absolutely have to master the basics first. Based on guidelines from PAR5 physical therapy, you want your hands just slightly wider than your shoulders. And your elbows, they need to be tucked at a 30 to 45 degree angle. If you flare them out, you are literally begging for a shoulder impingement. Oh, and keep your core and glutes fully engaged to keep that lower back from sagging. Now, if doing 100 standard reps feels completely impossible on day 1, you absolutely must scale the movement. You can modify with knee push-ups, you can elevate your hands on a box, or even try eccentric push-ups where you just focus on the lowering phase. And hey, remember, you don't have to do all 100 consecutively. Breaking them up into smaller sets throughout the day is definitely the smartest way to start, because perfect form, it always beats sloppy volume. Moving on to section 2, weeks 1 and 2, the shock. Let's look at the initial physical response. So, looking at these first couple of weeks, day 1 is going to be a massive physical and mental struggle. By day 7, your muscle soreness is going to reach its absolute peak, like it might hurt just to push open a heavy door. But if you can push into week 2, right around day 14, you'll actually see your muscular endurance visibly improve. And thankfully, that intense soreness will finally start to fade away. So what's going on there? Well, that intense first week pain is all thanks to DOMS, or Delayed Onset Muscle Soreness. You usually feel this deep, aching tenderness 24 to 48 hours after your workout because your body just isn't used to this extreme localized volume. Basically, your muscle fibers are experiencing tons of tiny micro tears. But here's the cool part. Right when DOMS makes you want to completely throw in the towel, neural adaptations kick in. Before your muscles actually grow in physical size, your brain rapidly figures out how to communicate with them better. It efficiently recruits the exact muscle fibers needed to push through the fatigue. This is exactly why your reps suddenly feel so much smoother during week 2. This brings us to section 3, weeks 3 and 4, the grind. This is when the reality of daily volume really sets in. As you push into week 3, that initial excitement definitely wears off. And the crucial number you're battling now is 48. A landmark study from back in 1997 found that 48 hours is the average amount of time your muscles need to actually recover and grow after a workout. You see, muscle isn't built when you're exercising, it's built when you're resting. So by doing push-ups every single day, you are completely denying your body this essential window. Because of that complete lack of rest, week 3 is where this deep, accumulated fatigue really sets in, right around day 15. You're going to face a very real plateau in your strength gains if you aren't varying your reps. Then, entering week 4 around day 22, joint discomfort often hits its peak. But if you manage to survive all the way to day 30, you'll have built immense mental discipline and some really noticeable muscular endurance, even if, unfortunately, some muscular imbalances are starting to become visible. Which leads us to section 4, reality check, muscle versus myth. Let's talk about what actually changes physically. So the myth promises massive, continuous muscle growth and a totally transformed physique in just 30 days. But the reality? It's much more grounded. Doing the exact same body weight exercise daily mostly just builds your muscular endurance and your movement efficiency. Honestly, you're going to get incredibly good at doing push-ups, but your overall limits on actual muscle size, you're going to hit a wall really quickly. And the data totally backs this up. Take a look at this 2017 study published in the Journal of Exercise and Fitness. They had subjects do push-ups to failure just twice a week, And over 8 weeks, those subjects saw an impressive 18.3% increase in chest muscle thickness and a 9.5% increase in triceps thickness. They got those fantastic results precisely because they rested. This aligns perfectly with an insight from fitness expert Jeremy Athier. When he was asked if doing 100 reps every day would result in even more growth than just training twice a week, he noted that he'd expect it to yield similar or potentially even less growth. Why? Simply because your muscles literally have zero time to rebuild the tissue you're constantly breaking down. All right, section 5, the risks and downsides. Let's look at the physical toll of skipping rest days. Beyond just feeling systemically exhausted, forcing yourself to do 100 reps daily carries some very real risks, especially for beginners or anyone who has a history of shoulder or joint issues. It can easily cause overuse injuries like tendinitis in your elbows, and it puts an immense strain on your wrists. But most surprisingly, it causes postural hunching. Think about it. Overdeveloping your front pushing muscles while totally neglecting your back is literally going to pull your shoulders forward. Finally, section 6, better alternatives. Let's talk about building a balanced routine. So instead of that endless daily grind, science highly recommends a smarter strategy. You should train your push-ups 2 to 3 days a week, making sure to allow for that critical 48 hours of recovery. And to fix that posture issue we just talked about, you absolutely must add pulling exercises like pull-ups or dumbbell rows to balance things out. Also, to ensure progressive overload so you keep growing, try varying your rep schemes. Maybe throw on a weighted vest or test out advanced variations like decline push-ups. So what's the realistic outcome after 30 days? Well, you'll gain incredible muscular endurance and some serious mental grit, for sure, but you're not going to turn into a bodybuilder overnight. Consistency is great, but recovery is where the magic happens. You really don't need a viral 100-a-day challenge to get strong. You just need a smart, balanced plan. So knowing that rest is just as important as the reps, how will you rethink your own training to build sustainable, injury-free strength? Think about that the next time you drop down for a set. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.